Hey, so I get asked a lot about how I keep getting work coming in throughout the year or how I stay busy as a freelance photographer. And the answer isn't that simple. It's not if you do this, you'll get that. But I can answer rather simply what it takes to really be busy and consistently throughout a whole year. Let's get into it. I think one of the most important mind shifts that you have to make when you go from a traditional route of employment to this freelance world or this creative field, it's not enough to have a single employer that funds all your bills. As a freelance photographer, you want these big clients that are able to fund your bills and to give you a life and to give you this career that you're hoping for. But realistically, it's not just going to come from one person, it's not just going to come from two people. So if you think of your job as your main job and then you have a side hustle on the weekends, that's two sources of income. But as photographers, you need to have two sources of income every single week. You need to have multiple sources of income so that you're constantly getting booked in these little individual places. I think that's one of the main things about being self-employed in general is that you have to stop being complacent about the work that comes in. I know it's nice to reap the rewards of your hard work, and when you have a good job or when you have a little bit of comfort, it's easy to kind of like lay back and just chill out for a little bit. But you have to use those moments to actively be booking and searching for newer and other clients for those times where it is going to be quiet. When you're busy and when you're working, it's hard to be like, oh, I need to also be marketing for when it's going to be quiet. But I think that's what's really important, to continuously be busy throughout the year. You know that there's going to be quiet periods throughout the year, and if you want to use those to take some time off or to take some time for yourself or to create some personal work, yeah, go ahead and do that. But different industries' slow periods are going to happen at different times throughout the year. You're not going to get booked by everyone all at the same time. Sometimes it kind of feels like that, but there are different heights and peaks and valleys for different industries depending on what works for them. So if you're a photographer that's consistent throughout all of these different industries and you can try to vary these sources of income, you can be really busy with retailers in like September, October, November, and you can be really busy with real estate agents in February, March, April. Throughout your year, you're always busy because you're working a little bit in different industries. You have 12 different jobs instead of just one job and one side hustle. If you can do this mind shift of thinking of your photography as this all-encompassing thing that serves different sectors or different industries, that's how you can make sure that you keep getting money coming in or you keep getting bookings coming in throughout the year. There's really two main ways to have more money in your pocket, and I think that comes down to either making more money or spending less money. When you spend less money, you have to make less money to afford living. If you can cut your expenses, you don't need to keep making as much just to afford whatever it is that you're trying to numb yourself out from. I can't tell you exactly where I heard this, but I heard this awesome, quick little quote a long time ago that was, you don't need a car, you need a car, you don't need a car payment. It's more important to cut your expenses and put them where it is important in your business than it is to rely on making more money in order to afford whatever it is, little luxuries that you have. If you can afford it, awesome, go for it, do whatever it is that you want. But one of the easiest ways to have more money in your pockets is to make sure you cut your expenses. Penny earned is a penny saved? Well, not really, because a penny saved is 1.3 pennies earned if you think of the taxes. So saving on to that money and spending less of it is going to keep a lot more than just that $1 in your pockets.
But Sergio, how do I make more money? That's why I clicked on this video.
Yeah, you're right. And to make more money, you have to make more friends. You have to get out of your shell and you have to go into those industries that you don't want to go into. I was very much victim of this as well, but every time I find myself in an environment with other like-minded folks or with other business owners, I leave with either less business cards in my pockets or more from them, or I get a job out of it. When you're face to face with people, when you're meeting people, the likelihood of them wanting to work with you is so much higher than you being in a list of emails or a pile of emails in their inbox. If you want to book with someone, go meet them, go talk to them. If it's a storefront, you know where they are. If it's a business that you can't actually access, find the 6 layers of Kevin Bacon that you can access. Find the person who knows the doorman, who knows the CEO, who knows the marketing agent, or whatever it is. Just find your in. If you want to work for someone, it's very doable, especially if you have a service that's marketable for them. And I think as long as you're not trying to reach for the Walmarts and the Apples, you'll be able to get into that business that you're trying to work with, especially if it's a niche that you're already doing. If you want to make money, if you want to be consistently booked as a photographer, you have to help solve problems. People have issues that they need fixed, and you are a problem solver. Stop thinking about it as how shallow of a depth of field you can make their portrait or whatever. Like, speak in terms of business to business owners, and that's how you'll sell them. It's not about how high quality your camera is or whatever type of lighting scenario you have for them. Think of concepts on your own time, sure, but look at the individual business that you want to service and define their biggest problem. Define what it is that they need fixing, and then give all of your effort into that shoot with them. The easiest part about being a photographer is the photography. Unless you're some business person that's like, let me pick up a camera and try to be the world's best cameraman because I know business. But I think 99% of us, that's not how we got into this. And if you want to make your business profitable, you have to think with your business hat on. And the photography aspect has to be second nature. It's like if you're a professional hockey player, you don't think about skating. It's just like walking. It's just like, it's your everyday. If you're thinking about it, you're probably not good enough to be there. So to be a full-time photographer and to be someone who's trusted upon with a camera in their hands, who's always getting booked, it's because the photography is not even part of the equation. It's about the story, it's about the problems that you're solving, it's about the relationships that you have with these clients, and that just takes time to build, and that's something that you grow and grow and grow. And I think that's one of the benefits that I have here in this much smaller market, coming from somewhere like Montreal or some much bigger city. And obviously, bigger or smaller, it varies depending on your environment. But for me here, I'm in a much smaller environment than I was before. And I feel like because it's a smaller market, it's easier to be a big fish in a little pond. Even though there's more jobs that might be available in a bigger market, there's also a whole lot more competition, and sometimes it's just easier if you're just in a smaller market, or sometimes it's at least more accessible if you're in a smaller market. To be able to provide this service to all of these industries is creating these relationships with all these industries. And creating relationships in a big market where everyone has a million relationships already, it's kind of tough sometimes. But because of that, you might have some friends that have connections with all of these, these 6 layers of Kevin Bacon. So find what it is that works for you. But what I'm saying is that you just have to focus on those relationships so much more than the photography. Being a photographer has nothing to do with photography. I mean, honestly, at a certain level, I think you ask anyone who's been doing it for long enough, they would agree that it really isn't about the technical aspects of photography. It's about the one-on-one with the clients, and it's about the relationships that you build. All right, that's it for today. I'll see you on Thursday. Later.